So let's look at the select sync program here. Let's just pick day 0. We will give that cow, yeah, it would be a cow protocol here. So she's going to be at least 45 days postpartum. We're going to give her a shot of GnRH on day 0, okay? We begin heat detecting and AI. If we catch anything in heat on day 6, we're going to go ahead and breed her by the AM/PM rule. Whatever we haven't caught in heat on day 7, we're going to go ahead and give her a shot of prostaglandin, and we're going to continue heat detecting and AI on out to day 13. So again, it's only 2 shots, 2 trips through the chute, and including AI, okay? Adding a little more to the program here, let's look at select sync plus a seeder. So in this program, we give a shot of GnRH on day 0. We implant the seeder on day 0. When we remove the seeder, we give a shot of prostaglandin to remove any CL that might have been there. And then we heat detect an AI from day 7 to 13. Okay, so we've added a product to that protocol, and that would be the seeder. This is probably one of the more common protocols. It's the 7-day protocol, and there's a 7-day protocol for heifers. The only difference being the amount of time we wait before we start our fixed time AI. So a 7-day co-sync plus a seeder, 45-day postpartum minimum on our cows. Day 0, we give GnRH, we put the seeder in, we wait till day 7, we give a shot of prostaglandin just like before. But this time, we don't do any heat detection. We wait 60 to 66 hours from the time we remove the seeder and give the prostaglandin, and then we AI those cows. At the same time we're inseminating them, we also give them another shot of GnRH at that time. So that's the most common. If you've got, again, heavy Bos indicus influence in your cattle, you might go with this 5-day program, which basically involves 1 more shot of prostaglandin at 8 to 10 hours after you give the first shot of prostaglandin. You give a second one, and then you do your timed AI with GnRH just like before, but this time you wait 72 hours or so. You can see that these things are somewhat, a little bit complicated. That's why they have these websites and these tables for you to follow, and I'll show you the spreadsheet here in a minute too that can do this. Heifer protocols, there's 5-day and 7-day protocols for heifers. They're the same as far as the products we give and how long we leave them in. If it's a seeder, the only difference being is the time we wait from the seeder removal until the time we initiate our timed AI program, okay? So the simplest heat detection might just be a single shot of prostaglandin, okay? So basically we'll start heat detecting on day 0. On day 5, we'll give our prostaglandin, and we'll keep on heat detecting out to day 12. So that's only 1 shot, and it's basically cuts a normal 21-day heat detection protocol down to about half, okay? 21 to 24-day protocol down to about half. It's the cheapest if we don't count labor. It offers the opportunity to use the 5% rule so that we can study our herd for heat prior to, putting semen in them or initiating the rest of the AI program. There are some long-term heifer protocols that have recently come out. Why would we want to add another step to this? Let's talk about MGA first. It may offer the opportunity to save money on an estrus synchronization program if MGA is in a program where we're feeding the cattle already, i.e. in a confinement situation or in a heifer development lot or something like that, where we've got them up and we're feeding them anyway. We can put the MGA in the feed. The thing to realize about an MGA program is you must allow them to have their first heat cycle after MGA removal, so it lengthens the program considerably. You give them their first heat. Research suggests that first heat following MGA removal is not as fertile as a naturally occurring heat or a heat that follows the second heat. So the long-term seeder offers opportunity to increase pregnancy rates by maybe 3% versus that 7 to 5 day protocol we saw. So again, instead of waiting, 7 days from the time we remove the cedar, we're going to wait 16 days to begin our AI program, and we can use either timed AI or timed AI with heat detection. The thing about the long-term heifer protocol is it does require one more trip through the chute, 4 times instead of 3. Unless you plan ahead, and sometimes combine your cedar implant with the pre-breeding vaccination, that can be done. Some people just don't like that one more trip through the chute. But if you're really, really trying to maximize preg rate in heifers, maybe that is something you might want to look at. Okay, so with prostaglandins, animals must be cycling. In order to respond, they must be 7 to 16 days of the cycle. You can use progestins and GnRH may recruit a moderate level of anestrus females. With heifers to be pubertal, they must be 60 to 65% of expected mature weight at 12 to 15 months of age. That depends on breed. Your English breeds, we're probably looking somewhere around 12 months. Our larger continental and American breeds like Brangus, Beefmaster, you're probably looking closer to 15 to 16 months of age for that first puberty to occur, or heat cycle to occur at puberty. We mentioned cows. They must be in adequate body condition, at least a 5 or better. You can use things like calf removal maybe ahead of time if they're in questionable condition, 48-hour calf removal. Even cows in a body condition 5 or 6 must be at least 45 days postpartum. And you're going to have to sort these cows. If you're doing AI in mature cows, you're going to have to sort them into groups and have a couple, maybe 2 or 3 different groups of cows that you have in an AI program. It's imperative that you have a herd health program. You can have the best nutrition and things in the world, and if you have any kind of disease, specifically reproductive diseases in your herd, you're going to have poor performance in any kind of breeding. The other thing I think is important, sometimes not even really talked about, but I think it's certainly important, particularly when we start talking multiple trips through a chute in a couple, 3 weeks. Use and study low stress or effective cattle handling techniques to train cattle to work through your facilities. If there's any question at all, I like to just bring the cows in there and feed them in the pens. Work them through the chute with the head gate open and just let them walk through the chute and out the head gate without ever being touched, and maybe put a little cake out there on the ground in front of them. Get them used to coming through there so that it's not a big deal when they come in and have to have cedars put in and then taken out and shots given, and then we finally, at the end of all that, that's the day we're asking them to conceive, is the last time we handle them. So train these cattle and it can really pay off, I think.